Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I cover a fruitcake in marzipan and fondant, and it's really easy. I'm going to go into detail about how I get a professional finish for the actual covering of the cake and a little bit on the decoration as well. The first thing that you want to do is put your fruitcake onto a board or a drum that's the same size, and you want to cover it in either strained jam or golden syrup like I'm using. Now, because I was recording this video, my golden syrup did go a little bit cold. However, if you just pop it in the microwave and heat it up, it spreads really easily. I've really well kneaded this marzipan. I can't stress to you enough how important it is to really well knead both your fondant and your marzipan. And when you're not using it, make sure that you cover it in plastic wrap. So I've just really well iced my board, and I'm just going to roll it out onto my icing sugar, and I'm going to keep it moving because I really don't want it to stick. To move the marzipan, just slide your hands underneath and you can pick it up and move it without putting any strain on it. The first thing you want to do is you want to smooth out the top so that you can get rid of any air bubbles, and then you're going to press the corners in, and that's really important to do straight away, because if you do that you reduce the chance of getting elephant skin or cracking around those corners. And the number one trick is, if you've kneaded this really well, you'll find this easy. So you want to stretch and push. So you're going to use one hand to stretch it out and the other hand to push it onto the cake. So that's all you need to do, and just go all the way around. Now you need to remember to work quite quickly. It needs to be quite warm still, and it needs to be pliable, and both marzipan and fondant do dry out really quickly, so try and get through this part as quickly as you can. And don't worry if you don't get it perfect first time, because practice makes perfect. You want to remove any excess as soon as you can, and save that because we're going to be using it for the decoration later. Now I've popped this onto a ramekin. This is just because it makes it a little bit easier to get a really smooth finish at the bottom. I'm using 2 cake smoothers. These are very inexpensive. You can pick them up at loads of different places, but you can also buy them online. They really don't cost you a lot. I'm kneading the fondant really well. It's really important to make sure it's as pliable and as soft as possible to get a really nice finish. So really take the time to knead it very well, and as soon as you've stopped using it, put it in a bag. I am brushing all of the outside of the marzipan with some alcohol. I recommend using alcohol, but if you don't want to, then you can use boiled water instead. On a really well floured surface, I'm rolling out my fondant to about 3 or 4 millimeters thick on a really well floured surface, and just making sure that I move it constantly. And again, I'm lifting it using both arms. This is the best way to transfer it, but if you don't want to do that, then you can roll it around your rolling pin instead. So once you've placed it on, first thing that you want to do is brush the top to get rid of any air bubbles. The second thing that you want to do is push it onto those corners as soon as you can. That's going to prevent any tearing and any cracks. And then, like we did with the marzipan, you're just going to pull it and smooth it down. pull it and smooth it down all the way around. Try and work quite quickly, and I just generally find if I've got a bit of extra, then I find it easier to work with. So you'll notice that when I cover cakes, I will use more fondant than a lot of people will use, because I like to have a lot of overhang, because I would rather cut it off. I find it so much easier when I have a lot of fondant to work with. So taking my smoother, I'm doing the first pass here, so I'm just going to smooth it all around, and the reason I like to do that first is because I'm going to cut off my excess. This is the second pass, and I'm doing a much better job at this point, and I'm really trying to make sure that it's really well adhered and I don't have any air bubbles. And then using a non-serrated knife, looking at eye level, so I've crouched down a little bit, I'm just going to cut it off so that I've got a really nice neat edge at the bottom. So this is my technique, and lots of people vary. I take my smoother on the top and I pull it out towards the edge of the cake, and while I'm doing that, I'm smoothing the sides as well. By doing that, I not only get really nice top and sides, but my free edge around the top is really beautiful. And then I just use the smoother on the bottom, just because I've used a non-serrated knife at the bottom. I just want to make it look a bit neater, so I'm just pushing it under so that it goes onto the board. I have some Lustre dust here. This is for my decorations. I've made some balls with the cut off. I popped them in the fridge for 20 minutes so that they cooled. And all you need to do is take the little balls and roll them in some of the Lustre dust. Then put it in your hand and roll it in your hand, and you get a really beautiful finish, and it's really easy and you don't require any tools for that. Lustre dust is completely edible, so you don't need to worry about that, but I am just using this for decorations, and the likelihood is I won't eat them anyway. So I'm just sticking all my decorations on now. You can use either an edible glue, or you can just mix some water and some fondant, which is what I do, and it works really, really well. I've added the little balls, and to that decoration I'm just going to add some sugar pearls, and then I just push them down using the end of my paintbrush just to make sure that they're really in there. And if you do this while all that fondant is still setting, you won't need any glue or anything, they will just stay there. This is the finished cake. I really hope that you found this video useful. If you did, please give it a massive thumbs up, and if there are any other videos that you would like to see, please let me know in the comments box below. So if you like this, as always, please subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.